May 23, 1944. A desolate transit camp near Cherbourg, France. The air stinks of diesel fumes, stale fear, and the lingering chaos of the Normandy beachheads. Klaus Richter, a 20-year-old infantryman, clutches a half-eaten piece of dry bread. His tunic is torn, his face grimy with battle residue, and his mind churns with exhaustion and dread. Days earlier, he had fought fiercely for every hedgerow against the advancing Canadian forces. Now he stands among thousands of captured comrades. A brusque American sergeant barks orders, directing them toward the open doors of a train. The prisoners drag their boots across the ballast and climb into cramped, windowless boxcars. The doors slam shut, plunging them into absolute darkness. Richter slides onto the splintered floor beside Corporal Hans Ziegler, a veteran radio operator captured during the retreat from Caen. "They are taking us to England," Ziegler whispers, his voice thick with apprehension. Richter shakes his head wearily. "No, too many of us. Rumors say America to long haul. Barbed wire, starvation, hard labor, they will punish us." The fear spreads through the men. German propaganda had painted Allied camps as brutal and vengeful. The train journey across France becomes a blur of stops, starts, and rattling wheels. The next stage of the journey is by sea. A cramped, terrifying voyage follows aboard a stripped-down transport ship. For 8 days, Richter endures the rolling Atlantic, half expecting a U-boat to sink them. Bitter irony gnaws at him. Their guards remain distant, silent but not cruel. They arrive at an immense cold port far larger than anything in Europe. Marched off the ship, they board another train. Long-distance carriages stretching endlessly. The passing landscape is alien. Vast forests, glittering lakes, and endless plains. After what feels like a lifetime, the train grinds to its final stop. Canadian guards wait in khaki uniforms. Richter squints at a wooden sign. POW Camp number 132, Medicine Hat, Alberta. He braces for shouting, violence, and harsh discipline, but instead, he finds a sprawling, orderly complex that resembles a small village more than a fortress. The perimeter is wired, yes, but the atmosphere is calm. The first thing Richter notices is the cleanliness. Dirt paths are swept, barracks painted white and green, and the Canadian guards carry their Lee Enfields with casual boredom rather than hostility. No snarling dogs, no shouted commands. Camp 132 is vast, one of Canada's largest POW facilities built to house thousands. Far from cities and coasts, it sits in the open plains of Alberta, both secure and isolated. The prisoners are processed quickly with calm efficiency. Instead of aggressive searches, they receive simple medical checks and new durable clothing stamped with a large PW. During intake, Richter meets an older German, Feldwebel Emil Krest, captured in North Africa and recently transferred. "Tell me the truth," Richter whispers. "Is this a staging ground before they send us to the mines?" Krest smiles tiredly. "They send you to work, yes, but not to a mine. Look around, the guards treat us by the book. The Geneva Convention. This shocks Richter. Officers keep their rank and privileges. Enlisted men like him and Ziegler must work but are paid. After being assigned a spacious, heated barrack with 20 others, the quality of life becomes immediately clear. 3 regular meals, heat, clean bedding, and even a small library stocked with German books from the YMCA. Ziegler mutters as he watches prisoners playing football in the yard. "This is not a prison. This is a strange holiday camp." But Canada has purpose. With wartime agriculture desperate for labor, thousands of acres of wheat and sugar beets risked rotting. POWs became the invisible workforce needed to keep the prairie food machine operating during the crisis. A Canadian officer, Captain MacDonald, explains the work system. Prisoners may volunteer for farm labor, especially sugar beet harvesting. "You will be paid," he states, causing murmurs. 50 cents a day, paid in camp script, not cash. The idea is revolutionary. In Germany, they knew only shortages. Here, they could earn something valuable: cigarettes, stationery, chocolate. Their first assignment is a farm miles from camp, guarded lightly. The truth of this place emerges. June 1944, a sugar beet farm outside Medicine Hat. The truck ride is surreal. The prairie glows gold in morning light. Their guard, Sergeant McIntyre, barely watches them. The land itself feels like the true barrier preventing escape. At the farm, they meet Mr. Henderson, the owner, a weathered, stout man who explains the labor through gestures and broken German. The work is grueling, thinning and weeding endless sugar beet rows under the harsh Alberta sun. Though exhausting, the work feels familiar to many prisoners who came from rural backgrounds. It is honest, peaceful labor, nothing like the chaos of the front. But what shocks them most is the treatment they receive at midday break. Mrs. Henderson appears with sandwiches, cold water, and warm pie. Richter hesitates, glancing at Sergeant McIntyre, who shrugs and eats. "Go on, boys," he says. "She's not feeding you because she likes Nazis. You worked hard, that's it." This simple act of kindness dismantles years of propaganda in a single afternoon. These civilians who built their lives from the unforgiving prairie see not monsters but young men doing hard work. They offer decency, nothing more. Weeks pass and the pattern becomes normal. Prisoners work diligently, motivated by the script they earn. The canteen offers pipe tobacco, chocolate, and small luxuries. Often they work alongside local families with minimal supervision. Freedom sits just beyond the fields. Richter realizes he could walk into the endless prairie. "We could be free," he whispers. Ziegler wipes sweat from his brow. Free to starve? To wander a land we don't know? Why leave when we're treated well? Escape becomes rare. Humane treatment, good pay, and productive work create discipline far more effectively than chains could. Canada discovers a powerful truth. Respect produces cooperation. The camp becomes a well-run labor center. Summer 1944. The camp canteen becomes the heart of POW life. Thick with smoke and chatter, it offers real Canadian goods, chocolate, shaving cream, newspapers. Richter approaches the counter with script earned from weeks of field labor. Prisoners themselves run the canteen, giving them responsibility and dignity. These small comforts, items they hadn't seen since before the war, restore a sense of humanity. Life inside the wire feels strangely normal. Canada's work program becomes a massive success. By late 1944, thousands of German POWs perform critical farm labor, often surpassing civilian output. They help keep the Allied food supply stable during the pivotal final year of the war. But a deeper question grows. What does humane treatment do to a soldier's loyalty? Officers barred from working cling tightly to discipline and loyalty to the Reich. Many resent enlisted men who work willingly for the enemy. Some officers even impose punishments or ostracize those seen as too cooperative. But the enlisted men working outside the wire experience something transformative: respect, pay, and honest labor under peaceful skies. One evening, Ziegler summarizes their shifting mindset as he and Richter share a smoke. "When we left France, I thought I'd starve behind wire. Instead, I am paid more than I was in the Wehrmacht, and I'm not freezing in a foxhole." He crushes the cigarette. "The Canadians treat us with Ehrlichkeit, honesty. They follow the rules. They treat us like men, not beasts. The propaganda at home lied to us, Richter, about everything." The realization hits hard. The enemy is following laws and ideals the German government had long abandoned. The men witness democratic principles firsthand: fairness, dignity, and personal responsibility. As 1945 approaches and Germany weakens, this humane treatment becomes a lifeline. For many prisoners, Canada represents peace, order, and possibility, while home represents rubble, fear, and uncertainty. May 8, 1945, Germany surrenders. Camp 132 falls into profound silence. Not triumph, just the heavy awareness that life as they knew it is over. Richter and Ziegler stare across the prairie, unsure of what future awaits them. International law requires all POWs be repatriated quickly, but Canada still faces a massive agricultural labor shortage. The prisoners continue working as before, knowing their time is limited but still needed. Many fear returning home. Europe is shattered. Families lost, cities burned. In contrast, Canada offers stability. Thousands of POWs quietly express the same desire. "I don't want to go back. I have nothing left there," Ziegler tells Richter. "Here I have work, I have dignity. And they treated me honorably. Why return to ruin?" His words echo across the camp. The prairie has begun to feel like home. This sentiment grows. Kindness from farmers, dignity in being paid, and the peaceful vastness of Alberta reshape their worldview. Canada begins a slow, careful repatriation process, but many POWs search for a way to remain legally. Most officers and those with strong family ties are sent home. But for others, Canada creates pathways: displaced person status, temporary labor programs, and legal mechanisms that allow former POWs to continue working while applying to stay. Farmers who relied on German labor vouch for them, offering references and guaranteeing work. Their support becomes a lifeline, giving many prisoners the chance to rebuild their lives far from the ruins of Europe. Richter and Ziegler seize the opportunity. Like thousands of others, they begin new lives on the prairies and beyond. These men become farmers, mechanics, tradesmen, quiet contributors to the communities that once guarded them. They integrate into Canadian life with surprising ease, shaped by gratitude and hard-earned trust. The story of Camp 132 stands as a testament to the power of humane treatment. Canada didn't break these men with cruelty. It transformed them through fairness, structure, and dignity grounded in the Geneva Convention. By paying their enemy, respecting their rights, and offering honest work, Canada created not only an effective wartime labor force but also future citizens who chose to stay in a land that treated them decently. The barbed wire eventually came down, but the legacy of the camp remained. Many former POWs remembered their time in Medicine Hat as a turning point, a place where humanity replaced hatred. They had arrived expecting brutality and revenge. Instead, they found structure, food, wages, and a sense of purpose. The contrast with the collapsing world they left behind could not have been more stark. And so, across the Canadian West, thousands of former soldiers stayed, built families, and lived quiet, productive lives, carrying with them the memory of a camp where decency reshaped their future.